This is the plaintiff, Tyrone Davis. He says he worked at the defendant's restaurant as a cook and wasn't paid for all the hours he worked. He doesn't know what type of scam the defendant's trying to pull, but he works hard for his money and deserves to be paid in full. He even cleaned the floors and washed pots and pans, for crying out loud. He's suing for $800, the amount he was underpaid. This is the defendant, Erin Bevilacqua. She says she's been running her business for 12 years, and this plaintiff takes the cake. He started lying to her 5 minutes after he was hired. Told her he had a work permit, but said she couldn't pay him on the books because he had a problem with his work numbers. Yeah, right. Bottom line, the guy's making up hours. She paid him in full and thinks the judge will agree. She's accused of chopping a chef.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Hey, Tyrone Davis, you
Yes.
are suing the restaurant owned by Erin Bevilacqua for $800 in hours that you say you are owed and were not paid. All right, what's going on?
Yes. My name is Tyrone Davis, Judge. I started working with this company on January 17th.
How'd you get the job?
I saw the job on Craigslist.
Okay.
I went into the job. Somebody else was working
This is a
there.
restaurant,
The
correct?
same restaurant.
And you were going to be doing what?
As a chef.
Okay.
And I went into the job. The young lady and hers and the boss lady, both of them, they came to the conclusion that I was hired. I started working that Monday.
Okay, how many days, what day did you walk in?
I walked in on January 17th.
Which is what day of the week?
It was Monday.
Okay, so the same day you were hired?
Yes.
Okay.
And I started that Monday.
That same day?
The same day.
Okay, go ahead.
And my last day was February 6th. February 6th. That's the day I was terminated.
Okay.
But during the whole process, when
Why were you fired?
Well, basically, my thing was this. They hired me as a chef.
Right.
And I started working as a chef. And during the whole process, they wanted me to go on my knees and clean the floor, clean dishes while I have orders coming in. And it was distracting me from doing what I'm really originally supposed to do.
Okay.
Then on top of it, I didn't make this in the statement, but the young lady who they have there with them today, she's the waitress.
Okay.
I have a recording also of her because I didn't know she was coming, but I have a recording of her also cursing me out.
Okay, but you're digressing. What is it that you were fired for? I'm not understanding. Because you complained about having to get on your knees and clean when you were really hired as a chef.
Right.
Okay, and they didn't like that.
And they didn't like that. And then on top of it, I asked them, like my first week I worked, I didn't get paid. The second week I worked, I asked them for my first week paycheck. They didn't give it to me. The owner stated that it was training.
Did anybody ever talk to you before you were hired to say this first week you will not be paid because you're training?
No.
Okay. That conversation never took place.
The conversation never came up.
All right. Then the second week came and you did get paid for that.
I did get paid.
And then the third week came and you did get paid for that.
Right.
You're suing for the first week that you didn't get paid for, which you say you worked how many hours?
I worked the whole week, 7 days.
You worked 7 days?
I worked 7 days that first week.
How many hours each day?
8 hours each day.
And the agreement with them was that you would get paid how much a day?
$100 a day.
So why are you suing for $800?
Because it was $12.50 an hour, 8 hours.
Wait. Was the agreement with them that you would be paid $100 a day, or was the agreement with them that you would be paid $12.50 an hour? Which was the agreement?
The agreement was $12.50 an hour because that's what
specifically the phrase. Listen to my question. That is the figure that was mentioned.
Right.
The words came out of their mouth.
Right.
You will be paid $12.50 an hour.
Precisely.
Not you did the math and figured it out, and $100 a day is $12.50. But that they said to you, we're paying you $12.50 an hour.
Precisely.
All right. What's going on? He says you didn't pay him. He stiffed him.
That is what he is saying. I have a few things that are not correct. The first day that he came in was a Monday. I was not there. He came in and the waitress was there. She was covering for me in the kitchen.
And what's your name?
Serafina Pollen.
Okay, Serafina, talk to me. What happened?
This gentleman came in on Monday morning. I was opening up. He came in and he asked if we were still looking for a chef. I said, yes, we were. I said, for training, you do not get paid. And he said, how long is training? I said, it depends until you know the menu, until we can leave you alone in the kitchen.
How long is training?
Well, it just depends if you know the menu.
Well, it could be 4 weeks? You're not going to pay somebody for 4 weeks?
I trained for 2 weeks. And then
You trained for 2 weeks?
Yes,
you
for
yourself?
waitressing.
You yourself did?
Yes,
and you
myself.
did not get paid for those 2 weeks?
I did at the end. She made up for everything that I had worked for 2 weeks.
Because you were good?
Yes.
Am I the only one who thinks that that's like not right and maybe not legal and not okay and sort of abusive? I don't know. I don't like that. Talk to me about that. Like, why? What stops you? No, wait. What stops you from just deciding? I don't think you're fully trained yet, and then just taking advantage of someone?
Training is like 4 days.
Okay, but you say that, and I have no problem with that.
Sure,
but that's not what she said. She said it was 2 weeks.
She trained for 2 weeks. In that 2 weeks that she was there, she did get paid. It was
right.
not.
I know she says that.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, like, the idea, put your hand down, the idea that somebody not know when or if they're getting paid seems very much like slave labor, and I don't.
No, I completely understand. And as it's explained to everybody who starts there, we go on a day-to-day basis. At the end of the day, I'll let you know. If it doesn't work out, you're gone. So Tuesday, when I came into work at 8 o'clock, I kind of briefly just talked to her a little bit about how he did the day before because I was not there. When he did come in, he seemed very pleasant. Initially, our start off was, I said, I understand the position that you're in. You need to find a job and I need to find someone. We're not wasting anybody's time here because that's not what this is about. I need to find a cook. If you're a cook, we're going to decide we'll go one day at a time. If I see that you can do the job, this is what the job entails. There's one person in the kitchen. There's no magical mystery man coming to clean dishes behind you. No one's doing your prep work. This is it. It's a solo job. I do it 7 days a week. You know, it's not financially possible for me to pay someone to stand here and watch me work. You understand that? He was well aware. He said...
But at what point do you tell him, okay, now you're actually an employee and you're getting paid?
On Wednesday, January 26th was the day I actually hired him.
So it's 7, 8, 9 days later is when you're...
Yeah, there was 3 days in between that his presence was not in that restaurant.
Okay.
That Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, he was not there at all.
Why wouldn't he be there like your busier days?
Because the first 4 days that someone's there, you can't have him there. The only time I really do business is on the weekend.
So you don't want somebody distracted?
They can't fit 3 people in the kitchen. Okay. And I have a prep person in the kitchen with me.
Okay.
So I said, because I can't throw you in on a Saturday, it'll be like, it's murder on myself to try to work literally in an 8x8 space. And he was fine. He came back. The next day he came back was on Tuesday, the 25th of January.
So according to you, he didn't work Friday, Saturday?
He did not.
Or Sunday or Monday?
He did not work on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Now,
Correct.
were you there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday?
Yes.
Was he there?
No.
So he's lying when he says he works 7 days?
Yes.
Nobody works 7 days in a place that they've never been to, and he doesn't know anything on the menu. I'm not going to say, okay, here you go, work, make my food, and I'm happy, I'll watch you. It's just not possible.
Why did he get fired?
For a multitude of reasons. I could start with the fact that he lied. He told me he was living with a friend. He had 2 children and an ex-wife. He doesn't live with them. And then an hour later, his wife shows up in the restaurant. We're like, we thought you told us that your wife was in the Bahamas.
Wait, he called her his wife? Maybe it's his
Yes.
girlfriend.
Well, we don't really know. Besides the fact
that there were some
cross-contaminations of food.
Hold on. I'm asking a question. What would make you think that was a lie if it was his girlfriend? I'm not...
Well, part of the empathetic story that I had heard from him was that he needed this job because his wife's family threw him out of the house because of financial problems.
So you had the impression it had just happened.
It did. That's the impression I had gotten.
All right, and then you see that a woman comes.
Yeah, that's just one.
Okay.
Not being able to complete the job successfully. I've had a lot of complaints. We had to refund money. We had to give, a lot of food came back.
Because he just wasn't that good a chef?
Because he was not that good.
It didn't taste right.
Well, we have a special person who comes in and she suffers from what's called celiac disease. It's gluten intolerance. He put croutons on her food and we wind up having to buy her lunch. It was $35. That's just one. So after a lot of other problems over the last 2 weeks, the day came, which was Sunday, on February 6th, he just dropped the ball. It was a busy day, just didn't have enough food prepared. He was just whining, complaining, basically threatened to almost walk out on me. He says, listen, if you don't like the way I work, I'll call my old boss and get my job back. I said, maybe you should. So I had called my husband. I said, this is the situation. He goes, we're going to have to let him go now. So we waited till 2 o'clock at the end of the day on Sunday, and Alex came in, we paid him his money. There was no mention of any other, like, oh, you owe me this. Nothing.
Pay.
Nothing about back
Nothing.
pay.
He
Serafina, were you
literally
there that
begged
day?
for his job back. He said,
Serafina,
please.
were you there that day?
No, I wasn't actually.
Okay, go ahead.
It got to the point where he understood he was being fired from his job. He wouldn't leave the restaurant. You need to give me another week to prove I can make this work. I took this job. I left my other job to take this job. 30 minutes of this yelling and screaming. I had to call the police. I said, listen, if you don't leave, I'm calling the police. What are the police going to do? Call the police. What are the police going to do? Like a hotshot. So I was like, I'm calling the police. Police came. They removed him from the restaurant and issued a restraining order.
Oh, my goodness. You tell me, how did that day go? First of all, I want to give you a chance to answer her allegations about why she fired you, but also I want to hear about how that day went, because I understand that you tape everybody, so we've got
I basically taped everything. So
how did you tape it while
I'd
they were
love
right
to
there?
hear that. I'd love to hear the tape.
I taped it at the end of the day when he started to pay me, and he was cursing me out and threatening me, the husband.
Show
Hold
the
on,
tape.
just a second.
I
What
want
do
to
you
hear
think
this
you
tape.
are, a schoolyard? Stop barking back stuff when he talks. Go ahead.
Yeah, her husband was threatening me. Then on top of it,
Wait, had they already told you to leave the restaurant and you wouldn't?
after they told me to leave the restaurant, so
Why
I
didn't
said,
you just leave when
I
they
said,
told you to
well,
leave?
in order for me to leave, I need my paycheck. I need my money. So I'm not leaving until you get my money. So
Had you ever mentioned the monies before that moment?
oh yes. Oh yes.
Because you'd gotten 2 paychecks by that point.
I made mention of it the second week when they paid me the first week paycheck. And it wasn't really the first week. It was just for the second week. There's only 4 days I worked.
And what did they say when you mentioned that?
She gave me some sad story that you have to work the first week or whatever. They don't pay for the first week.
No, that's the explanation she gives you when she doesn't pay you at the end of the first
Right.
week. Then at the end of the 2 weeks, when she gives you a paycheck, it doesn't cover 2 weeks, it covers 1. That's
Right.
why you're here suing.
Right.
Why do you keep working if you expected that first paycheck? And what is the discussion you have with her then?
Well, because the reason for me still working was, like I said to her, I have 2 young kids. And I have a wife who's right here. Why would I tell her my wife is in the Bahamas, whereas if my wife graduated from NYU with a master's degree? Well, I mean, like, I even told her that.
All right, can I ask you a question? When that paycheck came and it only covered 1 week, what did you say?
I said to her that I needed my money for the first week's paycheck.
And what did she say?
She said to me that she's not going to pay me for the first week's paycheck because she said to me at the second week that it was training. I said, I don't work for training. I don't work for the first week's paycheck for no training. I said, every job that I had in New York City, training or not, I've always been paid. Then on top of it, would really
but there's 2 people who say that they told you about training not being covered because this is a small business. It's not in New York City. It's on Long Island. It's a 1 or 2 man show, and it was different. Did that happen, or you say it didn't?
That's a lie.
Okay. Now they fire you because they say you can't cook. You put croutons where they don't belong, and blah blah blah.
They fired her also and brought her back because she was a problem for me. Her. I'm surprised to see her here.
Because they fired her.
They fired her because me and her couldn't get along. Now she's here today, and I have a recording of her cursing me out and basically being.
Did she get fired for?
She didn't get fired. No.
She fired me.
He asked her out the first day that he met her.
Yeah.
Asked her out. Did your wife know that? Did your wife happen to know that he asked her out and says, now we're going to be hanging out?
This is ridiculous, man.
Drinking.
This is ridiculous.
Did you record that part?
Did
No,
you
I don't think
record
so.
that?
The one greatest part that it's like a
Greater
mystery.
than what you just said?
Greater than what I
Rewind, honey,
said.
because I want to hear about what you
What
just
I
said.
really
He
cannot-
asked her out. Can you switch with Serafina, please? He asked you out when he first started
first day.
working there?
Yeah.
What did he say? How?
He said he was leaving. And he said, "Oh, we should go drinking one night. I'll take you to the city. I'll show you the city."
And you said?
And I said, "No, I have a boyfriend. Thank you."
And then he said?
And that was it.
Okay, but why did she get fired though?
She didn't get fired.
I never got fired.
I
You
needed
said
to
yes
work.
when he said that.
No, I did not say yes. Not
I
to her
thought-
getting fired.
I
She was
took a
not there.
vacation.
She was. I needed to work with him. I needed to actually physically work with him.
So
where-
you were never fired?
No,
That
never.
was made up on his part.
No, absolutely.
All right. Now, so do you have any text messages you wanted to show me?
I don't have no more. The text messages that I had was where she was telling me that I did a good job. It's not on my phone no longer. You know what I mean? But
Did you have text
I do. I
messages
have
you
one. I
wanted to show
believe
me?
that-
Yeah. Can I see it? Is this after he is fired?
This is correct. 1 week after.
Okay. Good morning, Erin. I was paid $600 on Sunday, but I worked 7 days for you that week, adding up to 56 hours. My pay rate is $12.50 an hour, so I'm still owed $200.
It's just a huge discrepancy in everything that he's saying because there was no $12.50 an hour. We're not even
and
open
the point
56.
being that this is on March 21st and not one word about being paid that first week,
There was never a mention ever to me.
even on this text.
Also, we
yes,
have a
I
copy
did.
of the Craigslist
I made
ad.
mention about her owing me 56 hours.
We're not open 56 hours in the entire week. Not unless he's coming in when we're closed. We're not open.
But why
Not
is this
open.
How long are you open?
We're open 54 hours.
Your Honor?
Yep.
The same young lady who they brought in the courthouse, she was being prejudiced. I mean, like, I don't understand why would they even bring her here. She was being
Who are we talking about?
Stephanie, whatever her name
Serafina?
is. She was being prejudiced towards me. Best if she was even cursing me out on the job while I was working.
Okay.
So that was one of the reasons why they gave her vacation, so-called vacation, but they told me they fired her. You know what I'm saying? I have a recording of.
See, let me tell you, Mr. Davis, let me, I don't need to hear the recording. I want you to listen to me, to what I'm about to say. First of all, I don't like the idea of anybody working and not getting paid. But there's nothing wrong with the idea of somebody agreeing to train without getting paid because they want a job, so long as that person is very clear on the fact that they are training and not going to get paid. The key to this is that both sides have to be in agreement that for X amount of time, I won't get paid. This concept of, well, who knows? I'll let you know if and when I'm going to pay you. So when it gets like that, it starts to feel a little bit hairy to me, and like maybe that's not necessarily something that should be enforceable. Okay, that's one. Two, I have two people telling me that you were trained for 1 week, that you were told that you were not going to get paid while you trained. I have you saying that never happened. Stop. I then have you saying I worked 56 hours when they're saying we're not even open 56 hours. So that can't be. I have you saying I worked 56 hours when they're saying he wasn't around those 3 days of the weekend because we can't afford a newbie on the 3 days of the weekend, which makes sense. So I have you a little bit overreaching, angry that you're fired, and giving me cause to worry. The next thing I have that I'm looking at while I'm analyzing this and trying to decide where to go is I have you getting a paycheck after 2 weeks that only covers 1 week. And according to you, that's you say, hey, what's going on? But you don't quit. You keep working there. And they say, well, we told you we're not paying you while training. You say, well, you never told me that. But apparently at that, and of course you denied that confrontation happened on week 2 when he was paid.
It never happened.
It never happened. So, and then I still have you, I have to decide, did that happen or didn't it? Was he surprised or wasn't he? And what have I got? I've got you continuing to work there. You say it's because you had to because of times and you needed the money, and that's fine. She says no, it's because he knew.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So can a small restaurant say to a chef in training, you're not going to get paid during the training period?
No.
Why?
Because who wants to work for free?
But what if the guy accepts it? I mean, what are you allowed to make a deal like that?
Yes, you are allowed to make a deal like that. You don't have to be paid to be trained. It can just be an unpaid training period.
So you can do it. There are no laws or anything like that, you think, that require somebody to get paid for their work?
Well, if the advertisement's for an internship, yes, they can do that. But technically, no, if it's for a paid position, then no, they have to.
Well, they're saying it's an unpaid position while it's training.
I don't think they should be able to do that.
Okay, fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
In every case that comes before a judge, it's the plaintiff that has the burden of proving the case. Okay? They don't have the burden of proving it. You have the burden of proving it. You've got to convince me that you worked 56 hours and deserve to get paid. And I am just not convinced based on what I've heard. And having me listen to her cuss you out is also not going to convince me. Yeah. Verdict for the defendant.
Thank you.
So the defendant has won this case, and the plaintiff comes out here on the losing end of this case. What are you thinking right now?
It is what it is, man. Oh, man.
Yeah, it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Do you think you may have tried to overreach a little bit in the courtroom?
There's nothing to overreach for. If I work for a week, and like I stated, I think I should be paid. No, man. Mm-hmm. So that's basically it.
So did you go leave there and get another gig?
I'm already employed as it is right now. Like I said, I'm a chef. I've been chefing for 10 years. Everything is good.
Okay.
Like I said, whatever you do in the dark is going to come into the light. You know what I mean?
All right. Right around the corner this way. All right. So come on in here. You have a big smile on your face. Hopping out here. What do you think?
Words of holy man. I think the judge had it right. I think that far too often people take advantage of nice people, and clearly he saw that they're just, I was a little bit too nice in the beginning. He tried to take advantage, shake me down.
Well, you hired him. You must have seen something in him.
He did. He had some talent. And then the lies came through, and the bad cooking came out, and the laziness, and, the drama. I'm just grateful that, it's settled, it's done. I can move on and have my baby.
So can we. Good luck with that. Harvey?
Thanks.
So as long as there's a clear deal during the training period that the employee's not going to get paid, the employee is not allowed to complain after the fact. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.